And Asian markets and European markets are up across the board today, reacting positively to news this morning of a so-called truce on that trade war between U.S. and China. It has been going on for quite a long time, involving billions in dollars in tariffs. What's the latest, Hayley?
Yeah, it's certainly good news what came out of the G20 summit over the weekend. The U.S. and China have agreed to a 90-day ceasefire. Neither country will impose new tariffs on products from the other. That means that 25% tariffs on some $200 billion US in Chinese goods will not go ahead as planned in January. China has also reportedly agreed to buy very significant amounts of U.S. agricultural, energy, industrial, and other products. So that's good news for American producers. However, this is a temporary agreement. The U.S. and China over the next 3 months will talk to each other and try to come to some sort of meaningful arrangement on pressing trade issues, including concerns around intellectual property and agriculture. If they don't, the White House has been very clear it will move forward with tariffs that were planned for January in 90 days if an agreement isn't reached.
All right, and now a little closer to home. We heard from Alberta Premier Rachel Notley this weekend saying that the province will be cutting oil production to deal with dwindling prices. What kind of an impact is this going to have here in BC and maybe in other parts of Canada?
Well, this will be an 8.7% reduction, which is fairly significant and historic. The last time Alberta decided to move forward with such a production cut was in the 80s, and for entirely different reasons, not to try and address price. Now, interestingly, industry has actually responded fairly favorably to this. Smaller producers will not be affected. Some 24 larger producers will, but ultimately, as this is designed to try and raise Canadian prices, it's not really bad news for Canadian producers here who would like to see the gap between Canadian prices and U.S. prices close a little bit. So if this measure works, we will see higher prices, which could affect consumers too. But overall, if we look at this from a more macro national economic perspective, it'll certainly help industry. So some give and take there.
Gotcha. All right, Hayley Woodin with Business in Vancouver joining us. Thank you very much, Hayley.